we are again, Where the Game Lives On, Season 2, Episode 10. Episode 10. Season 2 will take us to the end of the calendar year here. We can confirm Kenny Wallace joining us on the podcast. I wanted to get that out off the top.
There you go.
So I didn't forget it. He'll be joining us here in a couple of weeks. We will have him on. I'm your host, Noah Tucker, joined by my co-host, Byron Shive. We doing all right this morning, sir?
Doing well, doing quite well. Ready for Thanksgiving and had a great weekend and excited for Kenny to be on. That's going to be I assure you it will be very entertaining.
Yeah, we will get into that. The Hall of Fame has just gotten back. We were on the road this past weekend for a regional enshrinement in St. Louis, and it was quite the event. It was definitely a very memorable one in my eyes. Very interesting class. A lot of personalities amongst the class. But what were your takeaways? How did you think it went just off the bat?
Had a great weekend. Of course, had a really nice staff dinner. Mama's on the Hill. Had to get some Italian on the Hill. But the actual enshrinement on Sunday was, first of all, thank you to Great Southern Bank. They've been a sponsor of the enshrinement away from Springfield since they started like 13, 14 years ago. So really appreciate them. And kind of funny, they got some shout outs throughout the day with one of Kelly Mulvihill Stallhuth, one of the inductees, actually part of her speech thanked Great Southern Bank and announced that she had opened an account that week in light of their sponsorship. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, everybody after that
became like a running joke, but great promotion for them. We appreciate their support. But it was a fun day. Of course, you know, as a sports fan, you get excited for the quote unquote headliners, you know, Adam Wainwright and Barrett Jackman that played for the Blues, and Todd Light. You know, I remember when he played at Notre Dame. Last time Notre Dame coincidentally won a national title in 1988, he was on that team. And just seeing, you know, Bob Costas in the videos and Lou Holtz and some of these individuals. But it was really cool. My vantage point on the stage, I'm sitting to the left of the podium, and then to my left was Adam Wainwright, Kenny Wallace, Bernie Miklasz, sports writer, sportscaster there in St. Louis, and then Lindsay Kennedy Eversmeyer, so women's soccer, but obviously, you know, made her mark in men's soccer, et cetera. And then on the other side of the podium was Todd Light going that direction. And so it was really cool. I think the coolest part was these headliners, quote unquote, they're listening to them interact, but they were blown away by the careers and stories and exploits of every other inductee as they came up. Of course, we play an introductory video, and like one of the first ones was Tony Van Zandt, high school phenom from the St. Louis area, rushed for like 2,700 yards in one season. National Player of the Year, had like 90 touchdowns. I mean, this is like ridiculous. I mean, ridiculous what he had done. And as he's coming up, like Todd Light is like, whoa, 27. You know, he's like blown away, like wanting to shake his hand and stuff as he's getting ready to make a speech. But Adam Wainwright is the coolest guy ever. He is down to earth. I had no idea what to expect. We were sitting there before we really got started, and just kind of chit chatting, and you know, nothing out of the ordinary. But and then the waiter came to take my salad. I didn't have any salad dressing, and so I left the salad sitting there. And I don't eat a lot at these events anyway, just because I just want to make sure that whatever. But so as the guy picks my salad up, Adam Wainwright's like, "You're not going to eat that?" I was like, "Do you want my salad?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'll eat it." So he loved the salad dressing, and so he ate my salad, and so we were joking back and forth, and he said, "You're going to eat your cheesecake, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah, I nibble on that throughout the event, you know." And so the running joke became that I would take a bite for every inductee, and so throughout the day we were just joking back and forth about he would, you know, elbow me and tell me to take a bite of cheesecake. But listening to him and Kenny Wallace, I mean, they were having the time of their lives, and just, it was awesome. Just a really down to earth class, and just came together great. So
yeah, it's interesting how they, they can kind of differ from event to event, how much the individuals, the teams, whatever it may be, interact with each other and everything. I think I noticed a lot of that on Sunday, where it seemed like they were all kind of, you know, hey, like, oh my gosh, like I always kind of followed you from afar or whatever it may be. But yeah, it was really cool. You know, Tony Van Zandt was a really cool story. And I'm sure that, it was pretty honorable for him to see Todd Light be like, oh my goodness, like, you know, it's TVZ or whatever. And then, you know, you also have like Doug Smith and, great showing from the tennis program there at St. Joe Academy. But yeah, it was a really fun day. It was a great day. Shout out Coleman Swerk for our videos.
Coleman does an excellent job.
They're always awesome. Yep. Yeah, so it was a good event. You mentioned Mamas on the Hill. What a like shameless plug right there.
Yeah. Well, Chris Belvin he's our director of communications. He's actually grew up in New York, and so he's very shall we say particular about authentic Italian.
Absolutely.
And so he wanted to he'd always heard of the Hill, and he wanted to get some authentic Italian on the Hill. And so I joked with him that, we had reservations at Fazoli's, which personally I love me some Fazoli's, but he was like, that's not going to work. But yeah, we ate at Mama's on the Hill on Saturday night and I think we had 6 of us there that were able to be there, but just a feast. I mean, we had toasted ravioli, which I guess is the thing on the Hill. You got to get toasted ravioli. We had meatballs for everybody, and then everybody got their own dish. And what'd you wind up with?
I got manicotti. Just cheese manicotti. Yeah.
I was torn between the cannelloni and the lasagna, and I asked for the waitress's recommendation, and she, without hesitation, said, "Look, you got to get the lasagna." Excellent choice. So
I knew as soon as we walked up that we had picked a good place because it's right on the corner, and it's a really like small, intimate kind of restaurant, and there's people just flowing out the door. Waiting for and it was a Saturday night, of course. Like we kind of anticipated that, but not the highlight of the weekend, but definitely a very
a good way to get it started, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll move on from the St. Louis Enshrinement. It was definitely one for the books, and we will turn the page and be on to the next thing as we kind of get to the end of our calendar year here. We want to remind you the helmet raffle is live. If you're watching on YouTube, it's not with us. It's been making the rounds a little bit before we decide to draw the winner on December 1st. But
it's a week from Friday.
Yeah, they literally have just a little more than a week left to get
I think we're slightly over 200 chances sold. And so you got great odds. We've been saying this for weeks, but now we're entering the home stretch. You got less than 10 days, and somebody's going to win a great piece of memorabilia at noon on Friday the 1st. May as well be you. I mean, there's, like I said, just over 200 chances. So your odds are really, really good. Only $25 for one opportunity. So encourage you to click that link and buy a ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, winner will be drawn on Friday, December 1st. Links to purchase and entry will be in the podcast description below. That is a week from Black Friday. So that being said, Thanksgiving coming up tomorrow, actually. So what are your plans? What do you do for Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving, obviously eat some more. We will, of course, get together with my wife's family. Unfortunately, my parents passed away years ago, and my siblings are scattered abroad. We will get to see them. We don't get together much, but we will gather together at my in-laws on Thanksgiving Day. And Friday, we'll actually be headed to Tennessee. My dad's family, so my aunts and uncles and cousins, we get together once a year on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and so we'll be in Tennessee. And coincidentally, my brother is getting married as kind of the pre-lunch entertainment, I guess. But I gotta take a suit for that portion, and then I'll change into something with maybe an elastic band so I can eat more. I don't know. But
I hadn't heard about that. So I am married. Wow. Younger brother, older brother?
No, he's older.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's fun. You're gonna have a full schedule.
It's a full schedule.
I'm planning the opposite. I mean, I've got a couple of family gatherings, get-togethers, but for the most part, I'm trying to do as little as possible. I mean, and I'm with you, right? You wear the sweats or whatever you got to do. I don't know if every family's like this. Some people always say Thanksgiving dinner. No, it's Thanksgiving lunch.
Yeah, we're all.
Yeah, you eat the big lunch, and then you go sit, nap, watch football. But then you can go back and you can graze.
Well, yes and no. We're a lunch. We're definitely lunch time. We'll eat, but I'm also not a big. I mean, I'll eat. I love Thanksgiving lunch. And whatever when you eat it. Done after that.
Done.
I'm not a leftover.
Like a one plate guy?
I'm not saying I'll only eat one plate at the time, but I'm not going back 5 hours later and eating it up. I'm not a
I like to get.
I like turkey one time a year, and that's
really?
fresh out of the oven, and I'm done
on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So turkey on Thanksgiving, ham at Christmas.
Yeah, we do have ham at Christmas.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, we haven't done it yet, but I'm all for smoking a brisket any day. I mean, we'll do that for Thanksgiving or Christmas or what. But.
Absolutely. No, I got to go back and I don't know. Like I like to make like a turkey sandwich with something like that.
See, I'm just not a turkey. Now, see, I grew up eating. We go to Kentucky to my grandparents, and my dad's mom and my mom's mom. They both live very close to each other, and we'd eat dumplings at both places, and you would think they would taste the same. They tasted different, and I loved both of them. And so that's, as an adult, that's my one thing that I make dumplings for our meal because I love dumplings.
See, I don't think of that as like a traditional Thanksgiving dish, but I mean, I guess it's just depending on where you grow up.
That's the only time I get it all year long is at Thanksgiving. I don't know why, but
yeah. So what is your what's your top Thanksgiving dish? It can just be like
dumplings.
A side. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I mean, I literally could make a meal off of dumplings, but I don't know. I like stuffing. Some people don't like it.
Big stuffing guy.
I love, to be honest with you, stovetop. But there's someone I used to know that used to make what they called oyster dressing, and it sounds awful, but it was actually really good. But I like, dressing. You got to get big mound of potatoes, make the little, hole so you can pour the gravy in there. But
I would say stuffing. Maybe.
Now, are you a white meat or a dark meat guy on the turkey?
Both.
So,
I probably, if I had to lean towards one, I'd say white meat probably. But both. I get a variety.
Dark meat.
Yeah. Well, and it's if it's not dry, usually white meat's more dry.
Now, I did see a meme a friend of mine posted from Tennessee. It said something to the effect of just a public service announcement. Thanksgiving is not time for you to be taste testing dishes. Let's go with the tried and true. You're not practicing that. Let's go with what we know.
We need the same old green bean casserole.
No, we need something. We don't need you, practicing your new dish at Thanksgiving.
I totally agree. I think if I've got to pick, stuffing is definitely up there for me. I think if I've got to pick one thing though, I just always associate Thanksgiving with pies. And if I'm picking one pie, it's pumpkin pie.
And see, I'm not a pie guy. I mean,
really?
No, I don't.
Pie might be my favorite dessert.
I don't. Like, I did see something you had to get rid of one. It had pumpkin pie, it had apple pie, pecan pie, and sweet potato pie. And you had to get rid of one. I was like, well, let's get rid of all of them because I don't like any of them. So I'll eat pumpkin pie, but I'm not really a...
Same thing. Like, I don't eat pumpkin pie any other time of the year, but I'll have 3 slices.
Well, see, I'd rather have a second or third bowl of dumplings than a piece of pie. So,
Interesting. Do you guys have any traditions? You do anything? You always watch football? Or?
No, I mean, like, I can remember before we had, kids and all that we would eat. And then Thursday night, Thanksgiving night was always, we're going to the movies and seeing... there's always a big movie that comes out, and that was always every year we would go see a movie. She had to leave room for popcorn and all that. But since we've had kids, you're not dragging kids to the movies. Now they're getting older to where you could probably take them, but of course since COVID, movies have not made their return.
I was talking to somebody about that the other day. I don't know if have we passed with streaming and everything? Have we passed the golden era?
I did see the new Hunger Games movies out, so maybe that's good. I don't know.
So. I don't think we really have like any traditions. We like to kind of throw the football around in the backyard a little bit, something like that.
So there's a lot of people have the traditional Sandlot football games. So we never did that growing up either.
No. So. I've tried to start that with some of my high school buddies because that's the one time everybody's back in town. Like, hey, let's 8 a.m. get out there when it's foggy and play a little game, and then you're making room for all your
So
food
I'm picturing like Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson from Wedding Crashers. That's what I'm talking about.
That might be my favorite scene in movie history, with Bradley Cooper just going hard, just laying people out.
That's what I'm picturing. Little Sandlot.
I'm sorry.
A little overzealous.
That's just a great film.
Yes, it is.
It's a great movie. I got to collect myself.
All good.
We'll get off the topic of Thanksgiving. We've got some sports news. Mizzou football, obviously, with a huge win over Florida. I was watching it in the hotel room up in St. Louis while we were there.
4th and 17.
4th and 17.
That's going to live on forever.
I mean, it was just, Florida's not a bad team. I think they're on the cusp of bowl eligibility.
They need one more win to be.
Yeah.
They got to beat Florida State on Saturday to be bowl eligible.
You know, it's just one of those things where Mizzou is towards the top of the conference. They're getting teams' bests, you know, even when they're playing at home. And I was really, really impressed with them being able to answer the call there at the end, go down the field, and then the thicker kicker hits the game, you know, the game winner.
It was kind of like, you know, 4th and 17. It was, I mean, who do you go to? You absolutely go to the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to throw it to him. And it was like they were, how does he that open is the question. I mean, it wasn't like he got hit as he caught it. It was like catch it and then hit him.
He really looked like he didn't run a route. He just kind of fell into space.
But it was almost like a foregone conclusion once they converted that. You're like, well, they're gonna win this. But it was kind of cool. I saw, I guess, Harrison Mevis, the thicker kicker, before I guess they call a timeout to ice him, I think.
Yeah.
And during that, he was walking around like, I smell gator in the air. I smell gator in the air. Something
no
like
kidding.
that. So he was,
and then he did the chomp.
Obviously confident.
I think it's fun. I love all of that. But
that's Mizzou. That was impressive. That was as impressive a win, just because of, you know, that's the type of game Mizzou loses in the past. And so they've made the turn, and they're going to be talking about 4th and 17 for a long time. Maybe it's
play.
No more 5th down or any of that, or the kicked ball against Nebraska. Maybe 4th and 17 rises to the top.
It was a big play. You know, obviously I think that plays a little bit more into it this time of year when our teams are trying to get bowl eligible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're playing for something big, and not to say Mizzou isn't. Obviously they're looking to secure a 10-win season. It's going to be their first one in I can tell you,
a few years.
It's been a while, but obviously, you know, seeking a New Year's Six as well. They play rivalry matchup to finish the regular season against Arkansas, who
you got to figure they're heavily favored in that one and should take care of business. So
and then same thing, Arkansas, I think can't get bowl eligible. They've had a pretty down year, but you know, there's always that extra additive or whatever you want to say. But it'll be interesting. Mizzou gets a big win. Hopefully can finish out the year strong. We will see. Do they play Friday or Saturday?
I was fixing to ask. I think it is a Friday game.
Yeah, I don't know. I it kind of gets me excited. Little 4-day weekend.
There's a lot of football coming up.
Oh, I love it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll be in touch though on what happens next week. Hopefully, we're not talking about an upset loss, but you know, knock on wood there. Don't want to jinx that. Well, speaking of losses, you know, we got Mizzou football with the win. The Chiefs though on Monday Night Football. This past Monday it just looked gross. It looked gross, but
like a cold rain too. It was just it looked miserable.
It had that late season game feel. But you know, they fall short to the Eagles. It seemed like a very competitive back and forth game. But to me personally, it just seemed like a game of a lot of missed opportunities.
Well, I mean, I think it's very simple to explain. Taylor Swift wasn't there. I mean,
I thought you were being serious here.
I mean, she was not present at the game and they lost, but
she's like overseas or something.
I don't know.
She's back on tour.
If you're the Chiefs fans, I think we've talked about this earlier in the year. They're receivers. I mean, they can't keep dropping the football. They're at the very end. Mahomes, it wasn't a perfect pass, but it was absolutely catchable.
Oh yeah.
And if he catches it, I mean, he's sliding right into the end zone. There's a touchdown. You're you're ahead, and it's not like Philadelphia was driving up and down the field on you all night. So
I thought the defense looked pretty solid. Kind of made Philly play into their schemes a little bit. But I agree. I mean, Travis Kelce had a fumble. He had to drop a pass that almost cost him there too. But I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to say anything about Pat Mahomes that's bad, but could he have been better last night? Yeah, there was room for him to be sharper, but it definitely does not help when guys are just dropping passes that hit him between the numbers. And Valdez-Scantling, I mean, I'm never a guy that says we lost because of that call or that play or, you know, but it's so blatant. It's so errant that if you catch that ball, well, it's, you know, we're singing their praises.
I mean, obviously we don't know if they win, but like I said, they're ahead and there's not a lot of time left, and Philadelphia had not just driven up and down the field on you. So you're in a good place if he catches that. So it was not like I said, it wasn't a perfect throw, but I mean, it hit him not in one hand, but hit him in both hands. And it's like it bounced off his hand and into his shoulder pad, which is, I don't know how that happens, but I think there was a replay, not immediately after the play, but it showed him like a close up of him laying on the ground, like almost collecting himself because he knew, and he's patting the ground because he knew that there's probably 80,000 people or 60 or whatever it is that are not very happy with him at that moment. So,
I don't know how a lot of other Chiefs fans felt about the game itself or what their takeaways were. I think people were kind of using this as a gauge of where, where do we need to get going for the playoffs? I genuinely thought, Philly's a good team, but being at Arrowhead, I expected them to win this game. So it leaves me with questions.
It's, I think there's two parts. One, they showed the remaining schedule, and I think only one team the rest of the way for the Chiefs has a winning record, and that's Buffalo. That's like 6-5. So they're not like they're lighting it up. So they've got a quote unquote easy schedule the rest of the way. Now there's some divisional games in there, which, I mean, Denver earlier, showed that division games you never can tell, but the schedule is manageable. Now, the crazy thing is if I'm not mistaken, currently we have the top 5 AFC teams all are sitting there with 3 losses. Now, I think Baltimore, what I saw had the 1 seed only because they had one more win or something. But the bottom line is that was a big loss because it dropped you back into the pack. And who knows? I mean, like I said, they got a manageable schedule, and the rest of these teams got some games, coming up that they may not be favored in. So they're still in a decent spot to get the 1 seed. Obviously, if you're going to make a run in the playoffs, you want everybody coming to Arrowhead in January.
Absolutely.
So,
well, and with that strength of schedule remaining, sure, that's a great outlook to say, we should secure the 1 seed. But then on top of that, I also want to see them play those teams how they should.
Sure.
We shouldn't be, it shouldn't be like Monday night where we're close with a game. It should, and I look back at the Denver game all the time, and Denver has kind of turned a page quite a bit. They've had some luck, but whenever you're playing some of those teams with losing records, put it away. Your starters shouldn't even be on the field most of the fourth quarter, and I think sometimes the Chiefs can either rise to the occasion or play down to the level of their competition, when sometimes it's like, man, we should be beating these guys by 3 scores. But I thought it was an entertaining game as a non-Chiefs fan, I guess, perspective. It definitely was sometimes those Thursday night games, those Monday night games, they're not always the most entertaining, but it was a good game to watch.
Yeah.
So.
Well, rematch of the Super Bowl, and it could very well be a preview of the Super Bowl.
It's possible. So. It's possible. I definitely think those two teams look the strongest.
I think that you saw the best. Yeah, I think you saw the best team in the AFC and the best team in the NFC play each other Monday night, and may see them again here in a couple months.
Yeah,
so.
Of course, you never know. Come January, anything can happen in the playoffs. But we'll see. Another. I don't know. When's the last time that there was a back-to-back Super Bowl rematch? I don't even know.
I don't know if there has been.
Yeah, that would be wild for sure. It's just so hard to do.
Right off the top of my head, I can't think of one.
Yeah.
There's been many a team that's went to, heck, Buffalo went to 4 straight Super Bowls. They lost them all, but went to 4 straight. But I know that they lost to the Giants. They lost to Dallas a couple times, but I don't think it was the same teams
Ever back to back.
Maybe wrong about that.
I definitely don't recall one in my lifetime.
Doesn't jump out.
So we've got a question of the day. We're going to hop back on the Mizzou football. Obviously, Luther Burden with a huge play. I thought he just looked like a game breaker on Saturday night. So the question of the day, we're just having a little bit of fun with it, but Luther Burden will be the best NFL prospect to come out of Mizzou since who? So he's a sophomore this year. He won't be coming out. He will be coming back to Mizzou, which is great for Tiger fans, but it's looking more and more so. I think he's got 77 receptions this year for like 1,100 yards, 8 TDs. He's putting up the numbers where it looks like he'll be a 3-year now.
Yeah, he'll go pro as soon as he can. I am not going to be confused for Mel Kiper Jr. at any time, but I would project him as a first-round talent. I think that by the time he does what he does, he'll be drafted in the first round, especially with the way the NFL is going with the passing game and getting those game breakers. He's what they're looking for. So he is most likely is going to be first round talent. So the question is, this is kind of difficult because I'm not like a Mizzou football historian.
Yeah.
and I'm not even sure, like in terms of draft prospects. So not coming into Mizzou, but leaving Mizzou, best draft prospect. And so obviously some immediate names that jump out. Jeremy Maclin, of course, was a speedster receiver, but it doesn't necessarily, I mean, I think Bolton, the linebacker for the Chiefs.
Bolton was a second rounder.
He was very, but once again, I think Luther Burden's going to be in the first round. So I don't know off the top of my head who's been drafted in the first round by Mizzou. Blaine Gabbert, was he a first round quarterback draft?
So.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I'm trying to look it up, see who their last first rounder was, but I'm not having any luck here.
Because I mean, I think that Luther Burden is, and that's the type of talent that you got coming into Mizzou. I mean, I saw the kid from was it Nevada, the lineman from the Nevada that just flipped was committed to Colorado, and now he's going to be headed to Columbia, staying in state. So
you were right. Gabbert was a first rounder.
Was he?
Yeah, in 2011. Okay. So I guess maybe that's your. I like the Jeremy Maclin comparison. I think that's all right, even though I don't think Maclin was a first rounder. But
yeah, I don't know what the answer to that question is. I mean, I'm not going to go way back to Kellen Winslow. You know, I don't know. I think there's been some more recently, but
yeah, but I think that he will be one of the best guys to come out of Mizzou in quite a long time.
Yeah,
and obviously you still have to make a name for yourself in the NFL, but he just has the tangibles. He has the feel to find holes in the defense. He's so elusive after he gets his hands on the ball. And his hands are true, you know, not to mention he's really quick.
And I think we'll look back, obviously things can change, but look back years from now, he might be the key or the cornerstone of what becomes the Drinkwitz era at Mizzou, because he was wanted by everybody in the country.
Yeah.
Now he's technically not an in-state product. He's from East St. Louis area, I believe.
Yeah.
But staying in state, keeping those kids in state is huge. And so I think that, and this goes back, I think we had the conversation on here when I think Taylor was on with us about the new law in Missouri, how that if you're an in-state product and you commit to a Missouri college, that you can start receiving NIL in high school. And I think that we're starting to see the benefits of that. Once again, obviously, I'm not talking about Luther Burden. He was not a Missouri in-state product, but keeping those kids in state is how you start building. And now he's starting to go and get some kids from Florida and Texas and some of these recruiting hotbeds, and playing on New Year's Day this year will also be a benefit as well, assuming they get there.
Huge boost for him. Getting back on Burden a little bit, I think it'll depend a lot on how he plays next year. I think that, mid to late first round could be his ceiling.
Brady Cook's back too, right? I believe he is.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he's more of like an early second round guy as well, but still, I mean, that you're talking about a top 50, top 40 guy in a class, which is really, really impressive. So yeah, we'll see. I think anybody who is around Mizzou football is just excited to see the success they're having, the recruits they're getting in, and then also having guys come back.
You heard it here first. I'm going to go ahead and predict on November, 21st, 2023, Luther Burden, the 2024 Biletnikoff Award winner.
All right. We'll see. That's a hot take. That's a hot take. We'll see. We have come to the end of our time, though. We appreciate you joining us. We wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. If you're bored, listen to the podcast with the fam.
If you're needing to take a nap, you can listen to the podcast or watch Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, Wedding Crashers. Man, we got a little Wedding Crashers plug in there. If you don't want to cook and you're in the St. Louis area, you can go to Mama's on the Hill as well.
Mama's on the Hill. Yes.
Follow us on socials. Stay up to everything going on. Do not miss your chance to enter the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame Super Bowl helmet raffle. That'll be drawn December 1st, and we will be back with new episodes as always every Wednesday. Byron, what do you got for the people?
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Enjoy time with your family, and thank you so much again for listening. We'll see you next time on another episode of Where the Game Lives On.